This country is a secular country, yes or no?
No, it's got an established church. You don't even know the constitution of this country. Well, who's the head of state? What? Who's the head of state? You don't even know the constitution of this country. Why is it not Christophobic? Why is it not Christophobic if you do similar discriminatory laws against Christians in the name of Allah? So when you look at Islamic history, right? And I just want to, I will.
No, actually, if you look
One
at
second.
Islamic
Look,
history,
if we're going to do a shouting match, I'll just start shouting again.
Okay.
Do you want to ask a question and have a conversation? Okay. Okay. Right. So I just want to finish the point I was making before these guys run off. He's come to me and he said, "How dare you interrupt Muslims?" But how many times have we seen Muslims like Paul and Mansour and Hashim interrupt Christians? Happened twice to this brother today. Twice. Muslims go around looking for Christians to debate all the time. You've been on camera, bro. Right? So, Muslims come around the corner looking for Christians all the time. When Muslims do it to Christians, Muslims think it's okay. When Christians do it to Muslims, suddenly it's a problem. He'll complain because we're about to go and interrupt him. We're about to go and interrupt him. Yeah? But the thing is, Christians, you've got to stand up to these Islamists. You've got to find your courage. So now let us talk about what this brother asked a question on. Are Christians second class just because they pay the jizya? Right, so let's just look at how Christians are treated in an Islamic caliphate. I'm going to answer your question. Firstly, they have to pay a jizya tax. If they don't pay that tax, their property, their lives are forfeit. Forfeit. Wait, I haven't finished. I haven't finished. I haven't finished. I haven't finished. Remember it and come back to it. No. Let me finish and then come back to it. But let's look at what else happens in Islamic caliphates. Christians cannot convert to Islam. If they do, they can be killed. Yeah. Christians cannot marry Muslim women, but a Muslim man can marry a Christian woman. Muslims can own Christian slaves, but Christians can't own Muslim slaves. Christians cannot do their processions in the street. They can't sound their bells. They can't evangelize their faith. They can't have outward displays of their faith that would offend Muslims. Christian churches cannot be repaired. These are how Muslims treat Christians in every single Islamic empire from the time of Muhammad to the time of ISIS and every Islamic civilization in between. Why, as Christians, should we accept this kind of dimitude? Now, let me ask you a question. You can come back. You can, of course. But I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question, and you can speak.
Let me speak and then you can...
Yes, here's my question. If Christians treat Muslims by saying to them that we're going to confiscate your mosques, that if you go and do dawah, we'll kill you. If people convert to Islam, we'll kill them. Would you call it Islamophobia? Yeah, go on.
Okay, so your point was that the fact that Christians are paying jizya shows that they are second class. They don't pay it, that their property tax is taken. So, can I please do an analogy on that point? So, imagine like a rich guy doesn't pay taxes, which is like, as you can see today, and a poor man pays taxes. Does the fact that he pays taxes make him a second class citizen?
Okay, so the brother didn't listen to anything that I said.
No, I heard what you said.
So now answer my question.
Okay.
Do you remember what my question was?
Yeah, so...
what was my question?
If a Christian does the same thing that Muslim does...
So if we confiscate the mosque in Regent Park, and say that a Muslim, someone who becomes a Muslim should be killed, and we say that we can own you as slaves, but you can't own us as slaves, or we say that you have to wear distinctive clothes, hold on one second, and we say you have to wear distinctive clothes so you can be identified. Would you call that Islamophobia? That's not answering my question. Yeah, so it was an if.
Is Britain a secular country?
It was an if. Answer the question.
You're talking about this country.
Would it be Islamophobia?
100%.
100%. So if we did it to the Muslims, it's Islamophobia.
It's in the name of your Britain is a secular country.
Would it be wrong?
If it does the thing that you're talking about, of course it's Islamophobia. It's in the name of secularism.
Exactly.
It's in the name of secularism.
So why isn't it Christophobia when Muslims do it to Christians? It doesn't even make sense. That's the Islamic mindset. If you do it to them, it's Islamophobia. If they do it to you, well, you complaining about it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so let's get the point. You're saying that in Islamic countries, Christians, we can take Jews as well. Can we talk about Jews as well? Yes or no? Christians and Jews. Christian and Jews.
Go on, what's your point?
Okay, so let's say that Europe in 1938 to 1945 was an Islamic country with 6 million Jews. So, yes or no? Would they be killed, yes or no?
Okay, so let's answer that question.
Yes or no?
Let's answer that question. So it is a spurious argument made by Muslims that what happened in Nazi Germany had something to do with Christianity. Had something to do with Christianity. It was to do with modernity. Nazism is rooted in two principal philosophies: ethno-nationalism and Nietzschean philosophy. Those are the roots of Nazism. Those were the roots of the Holocaust. It was not rooted in Christianity. He said, would it have happened if it was an Islamic state? Well, we have an example. It is called Iberian Peninsula. Because what happened in the Iberian Peninsula? 5,000 Jews were killed in a single anti-Jewish pogrom. Why? Why? Because one caliph of the Iberian Peninsula was enlightened enough to place the Jews in authority over the Muslims. And that so offended the Muslims, they didn't just kill those 2 Jews, they went and killed 4,999 other Jews at the same time. He said, could this have happened in the Islamic world? There is a reason why there are no Jews, no big Jewish communities in the Islamic world today. What about the Armenian genocide? What about the Assyrian genocide? Islamic genocides of Christians that inspired Hitler. Hitler said, when asked about the Holocaust, he said, who remembers the Armenian Holocaust? And who carried out the Armenian Holocaust? Muslims.
Was the Armenian Holocaust religious?
Yes. Yes.
Not at all.
Yes.
Because they wanted independence. Am I wrong or not?
What about the Greeks?
No, look, he dropped now. You asked me his question, he's dropped.
What about the Assyrians?
Bob, YouTube, this is Bob.
And why did the Kurds join in? Why did the Kurds join in? Yes.
In the time of the Ottoman Empire, people wanted their own independence. The Ottoman Empire didn't want that. That's why the genocide happened.
Oh, are you an apologist? Are you an apologist for that genocide? Do you agree with it? Do you agree with that genocide?
Why would I agree with
I'm asking you.
What?
That genocide.
Why would I agree with
I want to know whether you do or you don't.
Of course not. Why would I agree with
Okay,
the
fair
genocide?
enough. You don't. Fair enough.
He's saying that Islam, like,
Brother, in the Christian faith, we are taught that he is made in the image of God and that I'm made in the image of God. That means that regardless of his ethnicity or his religion, he has an innate dignity. In Islam, I am not afforded the same rights because they don't even have that concept.
I brought the analogy of the jizya. You completely ignored that. You went to another point, and then you went to another point.
No, you didn't listen.
And then you went to another point.
You didn't listen.
No, you talked about the jizya. You were like, imagine in Britain.
The verse in the jizya. The verse about the jizya. What else does it say? It says.
If you don't pay, your property gets taken. You talked about that.
Yep.
It's the same thing in Britain. In Britain, you get ejected or not if you don't pay.
So hold on. The same verse that talks about the jizya, bro, talks about, one second, the same verse that says until they pay the jizya, and feel themselves humiliated. That's the injunction of the Quran. That's what the Quran. Yeah, Muslims interpret that. Yes, they.
Prove to me where it says that it's a normative.
So hold on one second. I'm going to look through how. Are you listening? Are you listening? I've not even spoken. Would you like to debate? Yeah, come in, bro. One second. So 1 second, right? Guys, I can do talking over one another. You've just seen me do it for an hour. Yeah? I can do this all day. I can do this all day. I can do it all day. It doesn't matter how many times. It doesn't matter how many times you interrupt me. It won't stop me from saying what I've got to say. So, with regards to the verse, yeah, we can pull up the Quran if we want. Here's what it says. It says that wage war against them, fight them, the unbeliever, fight them until they pay the jizya. Yes, it talks about the Alim al-Kitab. It talks about the Alim al-Kitab. Right. So I've not. It's 9:39, I think. Yeah. 1 second, bro. I'm going to finish my point. It doesn't matter how many times you interrupt me. I am going to still say my point. I'm still going to say my point, bro. I'm still going to say my point. So, as I was saying, so the Quranic verse doesn't just say pay the jizya. It says until they pay the jizya and willing submission and feel themselves subdued. Now, how have Muslims interpreted feel themselves subdued? Through 1400 years of Islamic history, countless Muslim empires independently have all treated Christians as second-class citizens, which this brother admits that if we took those laws and did them to Muslims, it would be Islamophobia. But when I pointed out to him, then why isn't it Christophobia when they do it to us? He says that doesn't even make sense. Now, let them. So here's what it says.
Fight those people of the book.
Who's the people of the book?
Talking about the time.
Who's the people of the book?
Broke the treaty.
Who's the people of the book? Wait, which treaty?
They had a treaty, the Jews and Muslims.
So not Christians then?
No, it's people of the book.
People of the book, so not Christians.
Here it's not even talking about the Christians.
Alright, hold on what it says. Hold on what it says.
Fight those people of the book who do not believe in Allah, nor in the last day, and do not take as unlawful what Allah and His Messenger has declared as unlawful, and do not profess the faith of the truth, until they pay jizya with their own hands while they are subdued.
Whilst they are subdued. Yeah. So, let me ask you this question. Do you know anything about Islamic history? Okay, right. Which empires do you know about?
What? This question doesn't even...
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So I'll tell you why it makes sense.
You're going to test me on my knowledge of like the...
No. If you don't know, that's fine. I'm not gonna exact anything from you if you don't know. I'm just asking you if you know. Do you know?
I know some...
Okay, right. Do you know, for instance, that in the caliphate inside Egypt, they used to make Christians wear yellow belts just so they could be identified as Christians? That Christians had to ride on donkeys because they weren't allowed to ride on horses. Now, if we passed a law that said Muslims could only ride on bikes, but they couldn't drive cars, you'd call that discriminatory, wouldn't you?
Okay, so you said that if we did it, are you talking about Britain or if there was a Christian country?
Yeah.
Okay, if there was a Christian country, first of all, if there was a Christian country, Muslims wouldn't go live in it. No. So first of all, yeah,
that's not true.
Bob, let him speak.
This country is a secular country, yes or no?
No, it's got an established church. You don't even know the constitution of this country. Well, who's the head of state? What? Who's the head of state? You don't even know the constitution of this country. Who is the head of state? Who is the head of state? Who is the head of state? Answer the question. Who is it? So he knows. Who's the head of the Church of England? Who's the head of the Church of England? Answer my question. Who is the head of state?
Can she pass laws? She can't.
No, she signs
There you
laws.
go. There you go. And she has to. And he's been the head of the team.
No, she is. She is in that. She is. No, you're confusing two things. You're confusing two
She
things.
does not.
She is constitutionally the head of state.
So can we go
But
back
she has no
Yeah.
legislative
Just
power.
don't reject laws.
Does this country legally have an established church? Answer the question. He said it was a secular country. He said that. Answer the question. You see, he doesn't know. Do you know? So this country, this
country's not secular.
this country,
Is this country not secular?
you know, I would love one day to find some Muslims that could have a conversation.
Okay, I'm having an
I know you are, but you're fanboys here, aren't you? Yeah. So,
Speak over you. You speak over me twice.
what?
They're allowed. Just like Atun and your other friend shouting in the back.
Double standard.
Yeah, so you can't complain, can you?
Double standard.
Complaining
But a
about them.
Christian does it. It's A-okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right?
So you
One second. You
hypothetically,
said
if a country
in,
does the same
like
thing,
France at the moment, is that Islamophobic what they're doing in France?
100% because
There
they're
you
doing it
go.
in the name of freedom of
There
speech.
you go.
They're doing it in the
There
name
you go. There's the hypocrisy.
Finish.
The French Republic is Islamophobic because it's passing laws against Muslims, but he's defending laws against
You don't want to let him
Christians.
finish, Bob. This is what you're on. You're a hypocrite.
We can debate later, bro, if you want.
You got double standard.
They're doing
Bob,
it in
and
the
you
name of
perceive-
freedom of speech.
Oh,
Am I wrong or not?
And you're doing it in the name of Allah.
Does France do whatever it does in the name of Christianity?
No, it does it in the name of the Republic.
Then be quiet. It's
So
not a
why
Christian
does that
country
stop
then.
them? Why does that mean that it's Islamophobic?
Because it's Islamophobic, because they are doing it in the name of freedom of opinion and freedom of religion.
No, they're not. They're doing
Are you
it.
sure?
They're doing it on the three principles of the Republic. The three principles of the Republic. Yes, the three principles of the Republic are liberté, égalité.
I already know.
Right. Okay. Right.
So that completely contradicts what it does.
So
If
one
it's
second. So
brotherhood,
why is it?
it's
Why
talking
is it
about
not?
brotherhood.
Why is it? Answer me this. Why is it not Christophobic? Why is it not Christophobic if you do similar discriminatory laws against Christians in the name of Allah? Why is it not? I've shown you. What, sorry?
He wiped us out. He gave him welcome.
What would I do to you? I'd give you more rights than Sharia law would give to me. One second. No. No, me and him are talking. Answer my question.
Can
Yeah.
I just bring back the point of the jizya
Go
because
on.
we completely left it.
Yeah.
Do you deny the fact that Muslims pay more in zakat in terms of how much they pay than Christians pay in jizya?
Yes, I deny it. And shall I tell you why I deny
Prove to
it?
me.
Yeah.
Prove to me
Shall I tell you why I deny
Christians
it?
pay more in jizya than Muslims pay in zakat.
Because zakat is given as a particular amount. But the jizya is decided by the caliph. He decides the limits of the jizya. It can change.
This country does
It
with
can
tax.
change.
It's the same thing
Oh,
this country
but they're,
does
so
with
they're not
taxes.
guaranteed to be the same.
It's the same thing that this country
not guaranteed
does
to be the
with
same.
taxes. Jizya.
And what about blood money?
No, you man, just stop. Like, just give me a second. You misquoted. Can I bring it?
I'm listening.
Jizya is the same thing as a tax of today. Imagine.
False equivalence. It's a false equivalence.
No, it's not, because it's
You've been lied to, bro.
the government.
Islamic history is testifying against you. Islamic history. And let me explain why. Islamic history is testifying against you because at different caliphates gave the jizya tax at different levels. Right? Which means
Okay, the different countries
one
pay
second.
more, tell people to pay
But
more
you
in tax
have
than
just
other
tried to
countries.
say that it's always equivalent to the zakat. That's what you said. You said it was at the same level. You said the zakat is more.
Do you deny the fact that Muslims pay more in zakat in terms of how much they pay than Christians pay in jizya?
Yes, I deny it. That's what you said, and he's just agreed. But that's not true. And what about blood money? What about blood money? Do you know about blood money?
Do you know about blood money?
Right, here's about blood money.
What about in the Torah?
If in an Islamic caliphate, if someone killed the two of us, right? In an Islamic caliphate, if someone killed the two of us, the money that would be paid for your life in blood money would be double that paid for mine. Do you know that? Yes. Not on me right this second, but yes. I'll bring it next week. I'll bring it next week.
I'll be here next week.
Great, I'll bring it here. I'll bring it here. We'll have this debate, and then we'll do a flashback, and we'll show how silly you are.
Okay, so your claim here has no evidence, so you can't use it.
No, it will have evidence. It will have evidence. It will have evidence.
Now, it's a false claim because there's no evidence. You can't
No,
use it.
no, it's a true claim. It's a true claim. In fact, we might even be able to show where I give the evidence in another debate.
So when it comes up, no one can, it might not be true.
Here's where I give the evidence, so that you're prepared for next week. I had a debate.
Right now, it's a false claim because there's no evidence.
No.
Until you bring one, it's a false claim.
Yeah, I'm going to give you where you can find the evidence. It's in a debate that I had called Islam and Unjust Legal Code. And I lay out the evidence, quoting Islamic sources, showing the truth of what I am saying.
Well, if you quoted it, then show it now.
Because I haven't got it on me now.
Can you leave the link in the description?
I haven't got it on me.
Can you leave the link in the comments? Leave the link in the description.
So here's the point. Firstly, you Muslims are ignorant about what your religion would do to me. You are ignorant about what your religion would do to me.
You've got a double standard.
Or you're lying about what your religion would do.
Can we make the point that there is no Islamic soul? Now we can all agree that jizya, if there was an Islamic country, caliphate, hypothetically,
I'll debate you in a second.
If you lived in it.
What's sorry?
Hypothetically, if there was an Islamic caliphate today, you would have to pay jizya.
If there was an Islamic caliphate today, I'd be executed for murder because I'm committed to killing the taxman. I will kill the man that comes to collect my jizya. I will kill him. Death before Dimitri.
Bob, you said taxman.
Yeah, if the jizya tax. Yeah. Shall I tell you why it's a false equivalence? It's a false equivalence.
What's tax? Give us the definition.
Oh wait, is Ali Dawa interrupting someone's conversation?
Can you just give us the definition of tax?
So, government that you have to pay for the purposes of the municipal uses of the state. The jizya tax is not that. The jizya tax, the jizya tax is paid for your life. It is a ransom for your life. Now he's walked away, so I'll finish my point. The fact of the matter is that the jizya tax is connected to the idea of humiliating Christians, making themselves feel subdued. I don't know whose phone this is. Okay. It's about making them feel subdued. And how would Muslims make us feel subdued? By making us second-class citizens. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to be clear. Not every Muslim is as bad as their prophet. There's a lot of Muslims who are better than their prophet. But they are better than their prophet because they ignore their prophet. Not because they follow what their prophet said. And they say that I'm misrepresenting what the idea of subjugation means. Well, Islamic history shows us what that means. Go and speak to the Coptic Christians if you don't believe me. Go and speak to the Romanian Christians if you don't believe me. Go and speak to the Armenian Christians if you don't believe me. And ask those people what it means to be subdued under an Islamic state. Because those people will tell you, all you liberal do-gooders, all you Muslims who don't know anything about what your religion means. They will show you what it means to be subdued, because they've got the history to tell you. Something that in the West we've forgotten because of the Enlightenment, because we've been cut off from our history and what it meant for Sicily to be occupied by Muslims. So wake up. Do not be intimidated or be browbeat.